Hello, hello. If somebody could give me a sound check, that would be great. I want to play something before the show because I'm not sure we're allowed to play it during the show, but I just found that a couple hours ago and I think it's really important.
Welcome everyone, this is Dr. McCullough, helping to take control of your health. Today we are joined by Dr. Clinkhart, who is a longtime mentor of mine and helped me understand some of the basics of natural medicine many decades ago. So welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Joe. It's an honor to be here.
So for those who don't know who you are, maybe you can give a brief history of your training, and then we'll go to this.
All right. Well, I went to medical school in Germany. I'm actually born in Berlin. I'm a real Berliner. And then went to medical school. And after medical school for 3 years, I worked on a thesis, which at the time I wasn't sure, but it actually became very important because the subject was how the autonomic nervous system communicates with the immune system. At the time, nobody wanted to take that on, and so I got an award for it. And so, you know, when other people do residency, I did a residency in surgery, but only for 2 years. And then
normal residency is like 8 years or something crazy, 6 or 8 years.
Yeah. Anyway, so after I completed my thesis and defended it successfully, I spent 2.5 years in India working at a medical center there, where I really gained a lot of experience, especially regards to parasites and infections. So that became sort of my passion all the way through. And then, you know, I spent almost a year in England apprenticing with the wonderful man, James Syriacs, who was the father of non-invasive orthopedic medicine. The prolotherapy he had pioneered, and the many injection techniques and many manipulative techniques. And so that became part of my arsenal of things. And then I moved to the US and passed my exams, and I've been here almost 40 years, I think 30, I haven't counted, 35 years.
Well, you split your time. You're not exclusively in the US, you're also in Germany and London.
Yeah, the last few years, also practiced in England and Switzerland, 500 in 10 years.
Okay, so that's
so it's a dramatic increase.
So I'm wondering, and that was done in the blood?
Yeah, well, the apheresis is like this. You have 2 intravenous needles, one in one arm and the other in the other arm. And from one arm, the blood's taken, put through a filter system, and then the filter blood is re-injected in the other arm. And this goes on over 3 hours. And so the entire blood volume is washed several times. And this goes through thousands of miles of little capillaries that filter out the gunk. And then what you're left with is this filtrate. It's called eluate. And the eluate, the trouble in toxicology is that there is really no dose dependency between a toxin in the blood and your reactions that you have to it. Tiniest amounts can cause huge reactions, and smaller and larger amounts of some other things may not cause a reaction. And so the toxicology exams, that are affordable have all a certain threshold. You need to have a certain concentration in whatever you're testing before it can be detected. And so, he used the same exact toxicology test that he used 10 years ago when he found 20 toxins on average over the threshold. And this last study on 1,200 patients showed over 500, and that's an exponential increase that is not compatible with life. I have to say that very clearly, that I'm quoting people more intelligent than me. This is no longer compatible with life, the inner condition. And so detoxification, using the different methods that we have, is an absolute necessity to survive this absolutely insane time.
Yeah, and I want to go into some of the details, but just a quick question first. Aren't most of those toxins fat soluble? I was just confused why they would. I mean, I know there's some equilibrium in the blood, but most of them would be fat. And that's part of the problem, because you must have to do a fat biopsy to really get a good analysis of what's going on.
Yeah, well, the lab of Dr. Lassiter in Texas has been shut down. That was the lab we commonly used for the fat analysis. And it's very, very hard to, toxicology is not nurtured in this country. And so, but there's other toxins. There is thimerosal, which prides itself in being water soluble, and glyphosate is water soluble. So two of the major toxins are water soluble, and they travel very quickly in compartments other than the brain or the fatty tissues. That like to get stuck in the kidneys and in the lungs and the bones. So the fat-soluble toxins, is pretty much all the benzene derivatives, the insecticides, pesticides, herbicides. They like to settle in the fatty tissue, which makes them potent neurotoxins, because your brain, everybody's brain is mostly just fat, and that's sort of where things settle. And so it requires, both of them require this 4 grams, a flat teaspoon.
But, well, it might be more than that. But anyway, so 4 grams, how long do you recommend that dose? It's certainly not indefinite.
Well, really, it depends on what the eating habits were of a person.
Okay.
If, let's kind of go back to that. So in the US, the organic food has 80% of the same glyphosate content as non-organic food. That was, as far as I remember, measured with Whole Foods organic food, which may not be a representative, but we have a way also of measuring the geoengineering clouds on the sky. And there's not only aluminum in there and strontium, barium, but there's also glyphosate in there. So this rained down on us. There's retroviruses in it and glyphosate, so we had that examined. And so that's why even organic fields, get rained on, and the ambient air, the metals and things that are sprayed up in the higher regions of the atmosphere don't stay there. They come down and they settle on the fields and on the bodies of water on the planet. The whole oceans are covered with it, and so it's a big disaster. It's a military program that pretty much exists outside the democratic institutions. There's no oversight from it, and it's 42 countries are doing it, and it's a big mess. And so you can't really get away from glyphosate unless you have a greenhouse, but even you have to water the plants, and now the nanoparticles make it pretty much through all the conventional filter systems. And so if you water your plants, you've got nanoparticles in there, little tiny plastic beads spiked with aluminum and other things. And so, and glyphosate, that's that only appeared in the last 2 or 3 years. And
yeah,
so
I just recently reviewed the toxicology, not the water report from my local community, and the #1 toxin is glyphosate. I mean, by 2 or 3 orders of magnitude.
Yeah. So it's kind of shocking, and I'm a great fan of the work of Stephanie Seneff, who has really like single-handedly exposed this particular issue. And even though there is thousands of other toxins, glyphosate really takes the #1 position. And I think everybody alive, there was a survey done recently on the health of America, and out of the 50 countries that were surveyed in terms of general health, the US were in position number 49. In spite of your teaching, I mean, I know you have had a huge influence on the health of this country, but it's still too small a group, however many million people that may be, but we need more. You know, the child mortality, the US is in position number 29, you know, behind Mexico and other other places that we consider inferior to the US. And so that's entirely been linked to the use of glyphosate. You know, it's sprayed on the fields, and because it's water soluble, it washes down with the rain, gets in the rivers, and gets distributed widely. You know, oceans are full of it, and it doesn't disintegrate for a very, very long time. So that, you know, that's what we do. We do the humic acid, fulvic acid. That's a peat extract, basically, you know, from a high moors.
Sure.
And we do the glycine for a while, and we monitor the urine output of glyphosate, and then when that slows down, some people it's 2 months, and other people it's 6 months. Then we back off on the glycine and go to a smaller dose of that. Okay, and then the aluminum. Now the aluminum is far more sinister. Yeah, so aluminum can exist in the body in a 1+ form, 2+, and 3+ form, like iron. And Stephanie Seneff has shown that aluminum, when it gets in the matrix, the extracellular space, completely changes the voltage on the cell walls, the voltage gated channels, and has a profound effect on the microstructure, the microskeleton of our matrix, and basically impairs the receptors that we have on the cell wall, hormone receptors, neurotransmitter receptors, and whatever else we have, insulin receptors. They all get messed up by aluminum. As a really, really strong effect, stronger than any other toxin. And Stephanie Seneff shows that, you know, glyphosate is a chelating agent. And so when you have glyphosate in the food, it binds all the trace minerals, and they're no longer available for absorption. So it depletes us of trace minerals. However, there's one exception, and that's aluminum. It works like a shuttle agent for aluminum. So it binds to aluminum, takes aluminum across the gut wall into the tissues and distributes it wildly, and, you know, yeah, distributes it in a chaotic way in the system. You know, the thyroid epidemic that we are witnessing, where everyone's hypothyroid, that's glyphosate in the thyroid. You know, the leaky gut is the glyphosate in the food, but paired with aluminum. So aluminum, unfortunately, or aluminium, as we say in England or Germany, aluminium, unfortunately, as being a metal, has a affinity for the nervous system. So it ends up in the brain, it ends up in the spinal cord, in the enteric nervous system of the gut, and it blocks a lot of healthy vital functions in our system. And
we thank Dr. McCullough for that video. There's a lot more to it. I had picked out a little short piece of it that talks about glyphosate and aluminum, because we're going to talk about some of that tonight as we go along. We want to talk about, should be one more minute here. We want to talk about spring cleaning. Specifically, we've had a run on people in here with thyroid issues, and they're poisoned with glyphosate. Glyphosate is in Roundup. This will probably get me censored for saying this, but they spray it on crops when they're growing to get rid of the weeds, and then when they're going to harvest, they spray it on the crops again so they can see all the tomatoes and whatever, and they spray it on those plants right before they send them to market. So we're working on a program to detoxify specifically from glyphosate. A nitric oxide will help do that by taking the trash out of the body, and you can buy that at Amazon. Nitric oxide, they call it NO4, NO2, but that acts as a wall between the muscle and the hauling out the trash system. And it helps pull the garbage out of the system, which really toxifies you in the way Dr. Klinghardt is explaining there. I put the link for this video, and there is a short link that's just come out on Facebook. It's only 3 minutes long. This one is an hour and something. Gives you a lot of ideas, and we also have an article for you that goes along with this video, and I will put that in for everybody. For people coming in late, Joan or somebody that's here a lot, can you grab that chat and repost it for people that are coming in late? We're going to be together about an hour, and we'd like a volunteer, somebody who thinks they have been poisoned with glyphosate or some kind of toxin, a chemtrail. So if you would just put that in chat that you will volunteer. We want to have time at the end to do more with this. Let me make this smaller so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay. So as Dr. Klinghardt was saying, what is causing you to be toxic? Well, one of the first things we found with people coming to the clinic here is they start to exhibit fibromyalgia. And that can be from not being able to have enough pyruvate and oxygen to detoxify the body. And also sometimes it's too much iron. And so we've got that problem coming up with 5G and the vaccines. They're causing problems with the iron. So the system that we're going to give away this evening to one of our lucky people is Systems Detox. It used to be called an apple a day, keeps the doctor away, and that was too long for the graphics people. So they just start calling it Systems Detox, an apple a day. And you don't have to accept that if we're trying to give it to you. You can say, no, give it to the next person. It does require a PC, or you can go on the portal and use it there. It's much more quickly done if you'll do it on a portal. And we also have like 200 other things that you can look at. Fibromyalgia, gravity, which talks about your iron. We're just putting together the glycine information. We should have that up this week. I'm Sherry Edwards. I'm the director of the Institute of Bioacoustic Biology and Sound Health. We're located in Athens, Ohio. Well, really Albany, outside of Athens, but nobody knows Albany. So we're an old school in the middle of nowhere. And I used to say, if you get close, come to visit, but the governor has not allowed us to have people in for the past, well, a year in March. We are still doing things online. We are still offering vocal prints online. So we hope to see you there at the portal. Sound Health portals are online workstation for the public. And you can go in and say campaigns, and I want you to check me out for corona conflicts or stem cells or biodiet. And if you want additional ones, just let us know, like the gravity one or the one for toxins. Just let us know what's going on. Soundhealthportal.com. We have another website where you can give us a vocal print and we'll give you back data. We really would like for you to come to our classes. Our wish is there's a bioacoustic center in every community. And our first class is free. It's online. It's available 24/7. We give you 2 softwares to play with, nutrition and muscles. Now, when you're looking at nutrition about toxins, it's going to show up either methionine, glutathione, glycine. There's other things that we'll be looking at as we go on. So just a 30-second sample to the portal, and you can say, send it to me. You can tell them to send it to you. And then we try to follow up with helping you get into the class and understand more of what's going on. There's books have been written about what we do. This one's for the public. It's by Jill Madsen. And it just talks about how all of this came about, how my hearing is weird, mutated really. And that's where a lot of this came from. I could hear sounds from people and I would duplicate them with my voice and their pain would go away and blood would stop. We never knew what was going to happen. So a lot of it is explained in Jill's book that you can get from Amazon. Today, we'll be doing 2 or 3 different programs depending on what we find and what comes up. System Detox is the one we'll do first, and that's looking at medications, toxic metals, pesticides, fluoride, stress, food additives, GMOs, radiation is a big one too, exhaust fumes, smart meters. If you're having trouble with your smart meter, it's the gravity program that'll show whether or not you're having problems with critochrome and tooth amalgams. So we try to run the gamut to see what might be causing it. We did have a guardian party last year, well, for several years, and then people just thought it was too complicated for them to use. I gave out too much information. And if any of you would like us to start the guardian party again, we give you a software per month and a 2-hour class. The last one we did here, as you can see, when we first started, was about fibromyalgia and how fibromyalgia is a clue as to how well you are detoxing. I think the fibromyalgia pain is our first sign of heavy metal or medication toxicity, because we can give you the sounds to get rid of that. And sometimes it takes 2 or 3 minutes. Sometimes it takes a half hour. But we have found the clues to fibromyalgia, and we want to share that with people. We share it with our classes. They're listed on soundhealthoptions.com, and the class that you sign up for, the free one, is called Apprentice or Guest. They will give you a textbook to go along with what is going on. You just download it. We also offer you one of our videos, and the most important one is Breaking the Sound Barriers of Disease plus Miracles of Non-Medicine. It talks about some of the doctors that work with us, some of them that's had tremors or they had trauma, and that's free for download. Please share it with anybody that you would like. It was done professionally, and what we try to do is look at the frequencies of what's happening in our environment that's causing us pain in our joints, pain in our muscles, headaches, vision issues. We want to pass that on to people. We want it in the hands of the people, especially when they're threatening us with rationing. So these are some of the things that are in the programs that we want to look at. And radiation is certainly a big one. Immunizations. Right now, this COVID is causing stress on the note of A sharp, your immune system. And one of the detoxifiers is quercetin. And you can get that from the inside of grapefruit, that pethy white stuff. And I just decoded the next strain they say is coming up, And the detoxifier for that is pycnogenol. It's from pine bark. I don't know if it's in anything other than the bark, like there's some oils out. Pine nuts may have it in it. I should check that out. But one of the things that amazed me is when I figured out the antidote to this new SARS thing, what they say is going to happen with it is it's going to cause internal bleeding. And I looked up this pine stuff, this pycnogenol, and it is something that helps restore and support your vascular system. So I think we're on the right track with that. But there's a lot of things out there, everything from the pesticides, the medications, perfumes, exhausts, chemtrails, preservatives in the water, radiations, stress, smart meters, on and on. And we've had several shows about these things, and you can find those on our website, thesoundhealthoptions.com. So, major organs for detox, the liver and the kidney. So we want to keep those in good working order. Liver is the note of D if you take our nano voice test, and kidney is the note of F. So if those are too high or too low, and we do have a 2-day free class about that nano voice that you can learn to do this on your own and keep everything in good working order. So foods that support detox: grapefruit, beet, that's where you get your nitric oxide, carrots, your retinol and vitamin A, green leafy vegetables, the magnesium, avocado, good fatty acids. What's in apples? I can't remember. Turmeric is a great one, and there's a lot of cures out there that have a lot of stuff in it, but turmeric is the #1 thing that they have listed. And if you just get the turmeric, it's the one that's taking the pain away, the inflammation away that's causing the pain. And a lot of the inflammation comes from not being able to get rid of toxins. You have to watch eating cabbage because that can also affect your thyroid. There's whole lists online, what foods to ignore because of your thyroid. But radiation attacks your thyroid, glyphosate attacks your thyroid. Glyphosate also attacks your hormones. And Dr. Seneff was talking on the show we did with her on Sunday, was talking about hormones and how the glyphosate really messes up the hormones, especially the teenagers. And that might be why they're having such a problem with their identification of which sex they want to be. And you're seeing that all over the news. Herbs that support detox, you might want to just, I'll see if I can grab this, see if I can grab the source for all of this. And it says it also shows how to use it. So I will copy that and put it in the chat for all of you. Well, it's great big, but it's there. That's weird. If you can't grab it from here, we will have this up on our Sound Health Options radio or class page tomorrow, and we can put that link there for you. It's much more than we can go over here since we only have an hour together. Medications can cause this, like metformin messes up your potassium, messes up iron. So you just need to read the bottle and see what's causing this. A lot of this causes fatigue. It strips out the B vitamins. This is a lady that we did on air, and she had fibromyalgia and lots of allergies, and that comes in a lot with trying to detox your body. And we were able to help her reduce her pain from a 9, I think, to a 4 right on the air. And then afterwards, we worked with her and found out that it was Pitocin that was really causing her problem. And the problem did start 16 years ago when she had her twins, and they gave her Pitocin to help with the labor. So we were right on. We helped detoxify the Pitocin, and then we got rid of the problem, the fibromyalgia. This is Stephanie Seneff, and she is also saying that statin drugs cause a lot of problems with the body's ability to detox. And there is an article there. Let me see if I can grab it and put it in. Okay, put that back in there. She got into this when the doctor put her husband on statin drugs, and it really messed up his muscles. So she went looking about all of these toxins, and now she's an incredible authority from MIT about this. You can go back and look at our Sunday shows, Sound Health Options, and she last spoke about this. This is Mercola. That was a video we were showing right before the class. He is saying too that there's a lot of sacrifice of human lives for profit. I believe it, that money is more important than people's health. It's so important to him that he bought the lot next door. I was there. It was a beautiful house, looked like $1 million house. He bought that house and tore it down and made a garden so he could have his own food, and food that he was growing in the soil around him, because that is a good protector of the body's immune system. So Mercola.com, MERCOLA, got some good advice going on there. One of the things that Stephanie Seneff talks about is they're trying to put kids on statin drugs because they're saying kids are fat and they need to reduce their cholesterol. So they're trying to put them on statin drugs. Mike Adams, the health ranger, said that he found statin drugs and they wanted to put it in baby food, which I just think is incredibly horrid, but that's what they were doing. Whoops, I went too far. These are just some of the links, and we'll put those out for you when we put out the recording of this. About how to rid your body of glyphosates, what they say is to take glycine or dimethyl or trimethylglycine, because they vie for the same receptor site. And if you can get the good glycine or dimethylglycine in there first, then the glyphosate can't take hold and pretend that it's a good thing for your body when it's actually a toxin. So do we have a volunteer yet? Could somebody open their mic if they want to volunteer? And we'll use System Detox or whichever one that you choose. Mel, do you have a mic? Oh, Kim has her hand up. Kim or Mel, either one, are you ready to give me a print? Open your mic and talk to me. Susan Greenwald has also volunteered. Maya Baker. I don't know if we'll have room for more than one, but open your mic. Okay. Maya, I'm going to put you in the staff, put you in the a panelist. And now as a panelist, you should be able to open your mic. Are you there, Maya? Maya? Myra?
Yeah, I'm
Myra?
here.
Great.
I'm
Well,
here.
you sound good.
Oh,
When
thank you.
when you go on the portal, you can leave it right there, soundhealthportal.com. Let's go there and see what we can show. So there's the Sound Health portal, and you can go to services and see what you'd like to do. Or if you have another thing out of the 300 or so, you can tell us that you want those, and they'll click a few buttons and a report. What I'm going to do, since I'm online and all of this information is in your basic book, in your line.
Would you like me to talk now?
Oh, well, your mic was making such noise we couldn't hear anything. So I guess while you're talking, it won't make the noise, but as soon as you get finished talking, you'll need to turn it off. Okay, we're going to use what's called Audacity, and it's free, and it's in that textbook. It's on our site. You get a download of it when you take your classes. We're going to hit the red button, and here's the timer. Is it Myra, or how do you pronounce your name?
It's Myra.
Myra, okay. That's so little, I can barely see it. We're going to hit this red button, and you talk to us about your allergies, your fibromyalgia, your detox, something along the subject of what we're talking about tonight, okay? So.
Okay. Hi, one thing that I would like to take a look at would be joint pain. I have some knee and back pain, and maybe in my hip. So I had a twisted vertebrae that I untwisted, but still have some joint pain in my right knee. So if you could help with that, that would be great. I don't know what else that you'd like me to discuss. That's really, I'm all about energy and healing energy and frequencies, and study your work and the work of like Jonathan Goldman and Greg Braden. So I really appreciate what you do.
Okay, I'm going to stop this. We needed 30 seconds. We have 36 because I'm going to chop out the places where you weren't talking. Just use the scissors and get rid of those. And you don't save this file, you export the file. So we're going to go to export. A lot of people send me their files to interpret, and they save them and they come up a VPF file or some weird thing. So we want to export the audio, and you have to name everything with a different name. You can do it with date or whatever. So we have that, and now we're going to go to the, uh-oh, it's not going to let me in. Let me go to homepage. Somebody was messing with it or something. Everybody gets their own stash. We call it a cache, C-I-C-A-G, so that you can keep all your clients there. You can compare them. It's a wonderful thing to have for all of your clients. So we're going to do a new client, and Myra on air. We'll change it afterwards. We just don't want everybody to know who you are. And your birthday, and you can fake it if you want.
October 1st, 1961.
Okay, and what state are you in?
Ohio.
Oh, great, okay. We have to change this to female. And you don't have to fill out this bottom part, but you can. Do we have joints on here? We do have joints. And joints is one of the problems that come up when you need detox. But we'll probably use detox along with joints. You can I think in the beginning you can use as many as 10. So we can say, bring your voice in. We have to go look for it. And there you are. It comes in and decides what's going to happen here. So we can look at this little green and yellow thing, and it'll go through all the databases and kind of tell us where your energy is. So long-term, current, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, long-term 4, and predictive what's coming 6. So we know that we need to look at current stuff. And so you can look at all of these, but we're just going to look at what the summary is. And it's adiponectin. It does a lot of things, but one of the things it does is control fat moving in and out of the body, fatty acids, fat that is just there for storage, and also fat for toxins. People think fat around the belly is a very bad thing, but usually that's DDT. Somebody who's been raised with farmland where they put out DDT, the body changes it to DDD, wraps fat around it, and puts it on your stomach because that's the most compatible frequency with DDT. So we would want to go look at that, and I certainly will write it down that adiponectin is an important issue. A sarcopenia, that's just about getting old, nerve degeneration, dopamine. It looks at all of these. We look at the percentage, 5.8. We should look at that. If there's something in sarcopenia, usually proteins that aren't being made now, is that causing you joint pain? So I would take a picture of this and send it to you. But it gives you whatever is going on through all of the system that we're working with, through all the databases. Okay, you can also go to something called BioBundles. And joint pain, I don't know if we have that. We would, so no joint. So let's just look at arthritis. Do we have an arthritis? Okay, it's telling us that everything going on about arthritis, it's a nerve issue, a nerve degeneration. So it tells us you have one low, and this is proteolipid protein. Now, one of the things that make those work well is something called benfotiamine, benfotaime. And it's a form of lipid-based B1. You can buy it, I think, at Amazon. Well, there it is again, a proteolipid protein. And I don't, we could look these up. There's a reference manual here. Let me see if I can find that one. Ghrelin, it didn't say ghrelin. Ghrelin is another thing that deals with appetite. I don't know if it's going to be in here. We may need to find it someplace else. No data. Sometimes that happens. Okay, we're going to go back now, save and continue what we have. And we want to do an evaluation. And this is your file. I'm going to tell you now it's inflammation that's going on. Probably nerves, inflammation of the nerves. I just did that database 2 days ago, but I don't have it up online. So one of the things that we should look at is which points are most important. Points like these, those are toxins. When I drink Diet Pepsi aspartame, this kind of a architecture comes up. And aspartame messes up the glutamine receptors. And it just, you don't get enough glycine. And when I say enough glycine, there's a map here. And this map won't come down. Maybe it will in a minute. I'm going to pull the points. You can pull them a lot of different ways. That's what we teach you in class, but it's going to come back with little red circles around all of these things that are outside the norm, which is this blue stuff. It didn't pick these two, so I'm going to say, I just think I want you to pick that one and this one, because those look important to me. And here's a low one. I think that's important. You have to get that little blue thing right on it. It'll pick it up. So we're looking at inflammation, number 1 for you. So I'm going to save and continue. See if this will open now. It still won't. I should be able to open and make a report right here. Save and continue. There it is, the report. So it's going to give me your ranking of what we should do first. We go to page 2. Must not be much there. One of 2. It's not giving me anything. Next page, it just jumped right to definitions. So I know what happened. I did not pick a template. So I'm going to close this and go back and pick a template. In the meantime, I'm going to show you this Krebs cycle. Now, this is one of the templates. And when you have inflammation, it comes up right here, dimethyl and trimethyl glycine. And this is also where glyphosate poisoning comes up. When you look at this map, you'll get a list of things to look at, and then you can mark them on this map. So I'm going to go look at what the computer says we should have done, and 3 things came up. Joints, can't spell joint, J-O-I-N-T, inflammation, I-N-F-L-A-M, and you said pain, but we don't want to go for, we could look at arthritis. Well, sarcopenia was the other one, S-A-R-C-O-P-E-N. Oh, S-A-R-C-O-P-E-N-I-A. Autism here has the biggest number of hits, but this is because the metabolism and digestion for autistic kids is in here. That's why that is so big. So we can go down here. Anything 50 or more should be an issue. There's your inflammation, sarcopenia, and we had joints that we want. Only 1 in joints. Wow. How about flexibility? You have any problem with flexibility?
I do have problems with flexibility in my right side, in my knee and hip and back. I'm constantly stretching.
Okay, well, let's just add flexibility to it. Five issues here. We could go into connective tissue. That might be an issue for your knee, or we could go into repair. And for repair, that includes the connective tissue. So let's do a search and see what we find. Repair. Okay, we're going to use those. Now, I was having trouble with my computer in the beginning here, and I am not supposed to release any frequencies. If that happens, I'll have to go fix it. But this 36 is yellow. This shows us that it is the most common, most urgent problem. Now, it's only 1 away, 35 and 36, so I would do those together. Magnesium not working, laminin, connective tissue, thyroid's high. We could go look for knee and just see what happens. a semitendinosus. Now, I don't know where that is. Let's look. Flexes the knee. This is one of the other reference guides that come in here, so you don't have to look everything up. So that's almost behind the knee. And you said it was on the side that you were having trouble?
It is definitely behind the knee as well. I actually have a knot behind my knee.
Is it about in this area?
So I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at there. Is that above the knee or below or under the knee?
This is behind the knee and this is above it in the thigh.
Okay, so I would say it's under the knee, behind it, in the right, kind of towards the right side. Yeah, about right there.
Okay, I can't read what that says. It's too little. So let's keep looking and see what else it might be. There's also a lumbar, L3 lumbar. I don't think it's going to show us a picture. The lumbar is that flat part of your butt.
Oh yeah, that's definitely sore. I can feel the right side tighten up, like I had something twisted there in my hip and in my back.
Well, it
And
says
my knee.
it's weak. So we'd have to go find out what supports it and go from there. We can get rid of the knee and just go looking and see if there's any proteins. Activin, Protein, actin. There's a lot of proteins that come up in sarcopenia. Proline, arginine rich in leucine rich repeat protein. It's your highest high. A lot of times when there's something that just keeps accumulating and is very high, we have to give it a frequency or an acupuncture, a needle to get the stuff to move. And we had a young girl came in, she looked like she's about 10 years old, doctor referral, failure to thrive, and we tested her. It was all of her growth hormones. And we had to give her the frequency of the growth hormones to kick them into use. Here's magnesium. It's too high. What else makes magnesium work? What do you need with it? Well, we can hit this and go looking for magnesium and see what else it needs. We can also go to a pastel folder, and when we do your print, we look for what's in a pastel folder, and it's not coming up with anything. Well, it's called, I call it a green sheet. Nutrient assimilation chart. And you can download this from our site. Nutrient, ASSIMULATION. I don't see nutrient assimilation chart, do you? And I know it's on this computer. Well, that's embarrassing. It's not in a pastel folder, which I know is on this chart or on this computer. There it is. And this is what comes with your class to help you with other things, other people at marketing. Now, it just said there's no such thing as a nutrient assimilation chart, this lion thing. So it came up over here and I need to get it. And all of that, and I've forgotten what we're looking for. Does anybody else remember? Oh, magnesium. So we go to minerals. We go to magnesium. It needs calcium, iron, B group, vitamin E, assists calcium and potassium uptake. So it may be that we need to watch for these things because without them, the magnesium doesn't work as well as it could. You can also purchase bioavailable magnesium, and it'll have in it what's needed to make everything work. But we need to, its highest high, we need to get that working. We need to get your magnesium working. This will also help keep you from having cramps. The magnesium reverses muscle wasting, so does taurine. I didn't see that on here, but here's the 36, the most important one we need to give you. I don't think you can get this online, but let's look where it comes from. Well, it says it doesn't exist. We'd have to go looking for it elsewhere, but proline, arginine, and leucine, those are all amino acids that will be with muscle, not bulking up, but muscle support. So your health food store would probably have some information about these. These are management reports that you should take to your wellness provider. Laminin, protein scaffolding for skin, heart, lungs. Laminin, that's like your fingernails in your hair, I think. So you can talk to your health food store. Where would you get laminin? It may be a breakdown of the connective tissue in the knee breaking down and not being able to support the knee. So sapien, protolipid, proteolipid, that's where that benfotiamine comes in again. A myelin protein, a nerve protein. So it looks like we also need to support your nerves. There's laminin again. Now, all of this is a lot of information. So this is where you go back to your evaluation report. And it's got all that stuff. It's got 5 pages. It wouldn't show us before. You can send this directly to your client. You can print it, but it will tell you what ranks first. Reticularis, your ear, and fibulin. This tells you what you should do first. And anything that's underlined, you can look it up and see where to get it, what food it's in. Let's look at the next page. That's the most handy thing. And you don't have to know much. You don't have to know where you get laminin or what it does. You just look it up with your client at the same time. So fibulin seems to be really important and not working well. Gluteus medius, I think that's the round part of your butt that goes crosswise, not the round part that makes your butt look like a butt. A food additive high. A lot of times one thing can have many, one frequency can be many things. Ferulic acid, I don't know what that is, may prevent cell aging. I don't even know where you get it. But if you will send me your email, I will send all of these reports to you. Do you have questions? Should we go back and look at something deeper?
Well, like you said, it was a lot of information, so I appreciate you doing this for me, and maybe I'd like to take a look at it. Is it possible to take a look at it and then maybe email you back a question?
Sure. Let's go look at your system's detox and see if any of this is allergy related. So you just go back and you pick another template so we can say detox and see what comes up. And allergies can cause this kind of breakdown. You only have 25, so it's not of great value. You need to look at something that's 25 or more. But let's look anyway and see if you have any yellow there.
I do have a question, like how does fear play into this? Like if there was a strong something that was maybe a trauma or a traumatic event that happened in life. Where does fear play in to the system here?
Let's go look at PTSD and that'll tell us.
Oh, that's great. Mm-hmm.
But it says that the protein that's high, it's milk protein that's causing some of the breakdown.
Interesting. So would that be suggesting that I not drink milk?
Well, you'd have to ask your wellness provider. I'm not allowed to give advice, but
I
if
see.
this part was mine, I wouldn't drink any more milk.
Okay.
So let's see if there's anything else here. Copper is low. Copper works with other metals, and I think it works with glutathione.
So is that something that I would eat something that would contain copper, or how would you get that?
Well, what's copper? Peaches, salmon.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
Where else do you get copper? You can wear a copper bracelet that'll wear off on you.
Yeah, I've done copper bracelets before.
But we might go looking for copper and see what else copper is needed. Let's go back to this mineral thing and look at the copper. Cobalt, B12, iron. Iron's in both of them now. Remember iron and the magnesium?
Mm-hmm.
Zinc and folic acid. Copper levels are reduced with large amounts of zinc or vitamin C or vice versa.
Did I hear you right? Did you say copper levels are reduced when I take large amounts of zinc or vitamin C?
That's what this chart says. Can you guys see the chart?
Yeah, that's interesting though, because of COVID, I started taking 750 milligrams of vitamin C and then probably about 20 milligrams of zinc daily. And that's interesting that that came up.
Well, you can also go back and check yourself against, let me find the front of this. You can go back to that home page and say, I want to check myself against coronavirus. What do I need? What's lacking? What's too much?
Very
So
interesting.
a lot of ways you can cross-reference this. So my email is just sherryedwards@gmail.com. So send me your email address and I will send you these.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for doing that.
Okay, somebody else volunteered. So somebody I hadn't heard from before. Susan Greenwald, can you open, let me put you in a presenter position. I try to make a presenter, make a panelist. I try to make it so people who haven't been here before can do it. Okay, Susan, you should be able to open your mic. Can you turn on your mic? I see it there.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, you sound great.
Oh, cool. This is exciting.
Let's go through the same steps. I'm going to open another Audacity. And the rules that you need to set this up are all in that textbook, and that's free. So I'm going to hit the red button and you talk for 30 seconds about what you look at, okay? Go.
All right. I have bone-on-bone arthritis on my hip, and I have chronic fatigue for years. Not diagnosed, but I just have fatigue. I've learned how to live with it, but I'd like to be able to live a healthier life. And I have a lot of allergies, and as I get older, I see them increasing, and you know, pollen and just whatever chemically is going on outside really does affect me.
Okay. We're going to save you as Susan G, because we have lots of Susans.
Popular name.
Susan G online. And for chronic fatigue, do your ears get wet and kind of runny, watery
No,
when something's coming on?
no. Mm-mm.
A lot of people have reported that, and what we've done is give them grapefruit seed extract. And you can buy it from NutraBiotic. Theirs is the most potent. NUTRI biotic, NutraBiotic, grapefruit seed extract. So we're going to save that and go back to well, to our portal.
Can you record that, Rick? Put your recorder on?
Are you talking to me?
No, no.
Okay.
Sorry.
We're going to say new person. This is what you'll be doing online, just new person. Fill
Mm-hmm.
out paperwork. So Susan G. online. Give me a birthday, fake it if you want.
Oh, that's okay. 12/14/50.
12, 14, 50. And female. And what state are you in?
Ohio.
Again, 2 people from Ohio. Awesome.
I've been wanting to listen to you for such a long time. I just never, you know how timing's everything. So,
So fatigue
yep.
and what else did you say?
Arthritis.
I wrote down grapefruit. And
Oh,
what part?
my hip.
Yep, I should have written it down. So let's put muscle. I should have written it down, but I wrote down grapefruit because I want to remind myself to tell you that. So we can just say save and continue. We want to bring in your voice file. So there you are. And it'll come in, and if we save and continue, we can do a couple of things. Bio bundles, and we're going to pick arthritis. This is digging down to see what is actually causing this. Dyslexia. Do you have trouble knowing left from right and all that? Oh, that's mental neurological. It didn't take me where I was going. Arthritis, people. I know arthritis is in there. Well, I guess it's not.
Inflammation.
You do that.
Big time. Yeah.
See where your inflammation is coming from. And the allergies, you said 0.8, 1.3, hear, smell, swallow, taste. That's about people who have inflammation in the throat, the swelling, like somebody with ALS, or they lost their ability to swallow. 0.9 inflammation. Okay, let's see where your inflammation is coming from. It says it's going to get worse.
Great.
Epigenetics says it's coming, but it won't tell me what it is. I need something else at the same time on there. Let's go back one.
You're typing.
Say goodbye to allergies and radical factors. We had a person file in here the other day, and their microwave was causing radiation sores.
Wow.
So there's the inflammation. Oh, thymosin. I'd have to look that up to know what it is. When you have something in the center, it's too low. On the outside, it's too high. German measles, something is left over here. Let's look at allergies. It's green. The biochemical. SRS. I don't know what that is. I'd have to look it up. And actin. Actin is what replenishes the hair follicles, like in your ears and kidneys, and it looks too low. And people are beginning to get hard of hearing. It's actin, potassium, and myosin. So this actin rebuilds your filtering system. I don't know if you can buy that actin or not. It's a note of E, it's yellow. So here's your energy profile. Predict 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, something that's coming, long term, 5, current. You know, we need to look at a lot of this current stuff. What is low in green? Let's look through all of the files, and you can go back and look at each one of these, and you can see this if you're on there as an apprentice or as a guest. 15, adiponectin. That's a biggie. Cell salts, 11. 2 out of 17 cell salts are missing. Gardasil, 4 issues out of 38. Gardasil is where they shoot you up for cervical warts, and they gave this to kids in high schools, and people who had kids, those kids shed on their parents. So it's a problem. But it usually clears itself up. What is Diane? I can't remember her last name, but she is the one that originally did the Gardasil shots, and she said this will clear itself up in a year, and they shouldn't have been giving people shots. Harper's her last name, Diane Harper.
Huh.
We have some videos about this on our Vimeo, Vimeo. And there's like 500 demonstrations there. There's a couple on Gardasil. And if you tell me that we talked about Gardasil, I'll send you our data about it, our papers about it. Okay, let's go look at pull the points. Do some evaluations. I think this is the first time we're ever able to do 2. This stuff is usually some reaction to a toxin when you get these high spikes. I don't think the computer will pick it up because it's in the blue range. But let's current, okay. It picked up 1. Where the first part of this is 1 to 100. That's going to happen. When you look at 100 to 500, that's what's happening now. And you have some metabolism issues. Things aren't going through your body as efficiently as they could. Your long term looks great. Little bit of low, but it's mostly in a blue. Looks good. So let's save and close. Just a different way to do it. And 328, not a bad score. Let's pick out allergies. Inflammation, you said?
Yes.
Arthritis?
Yes.
Let's see what comes up there. Arthritis, inflammation, allergies. Now this will come up in whatever shows as yellow. That's probably what you need to do most of all. Well, I just did 2. How did I do that? 1 with just allergies. 1 with exploring arthritis. And there's inflammation.
The notes.
We should be able to see all of those together. I must have hit the wrong button. But the first thing you can do, usually, well, you have to save it. The first thing you can do is just go to the report and it'll give you a ranking of what you need to do. Save and close. Now I know I picked something out. It's telling me I didn't pick anything. There's no templates. Templates, computer. INFLAMALL, allergies.
Arthritis.
Was it there for? Oh, you wanted to know about PTSD too, didn't you?
No.
That was the lady before you. Sorry. Okay, let's go with
That's
it.
my daughter. Not me.
29. That's not a big score. 50 or more. Let's just look for anything. What really it's telling us to look for. Those people think, I don't know how to do that. Well, in sync, you have 292. This is metabolism, muscles, digestive, cardiovascular, connective tissue. So we could take a shortcut and say, let's do that one. Autism, that one's so high because this is all about digestion and processing of your
Oh,
bowel.
irritable bowel. I forgot to mention that.
Well, let's just stick it in there and see what happens.
I forgot about it.
We just did a show 2 weeks ago about leaky gut. You might want to watch that.
Can I get it on your website?
Yes.
Perfect.
Wow, look, 100. Relevant. I've never seen a score of 100 ever. Dopamine, glycogen, insulin. There's the actin. Now see how far that it is. We wouldn't combine these two. 61 and we're looking at 39 degrees different. We'd only go with these hundreds and see what they're doing. Ultimate diet, lipodema. This is where the fat accumulates in the body. Sleeping, 5-HTPE, allergies, actin. So we would concentrate on these. Do you have any blood sugar issues?
I was always told in the last year or so as I've aged, they said, you're getting close to borderline, but you don't have diabetes or anything, but close.
But we could look at insulin resistance here and see what else. We could dig deeper into what is going on. But send me your email address and I will send you these reports. And these reports are easy to do on your own. That's what the first class is about, to see if you want to start a center on your own. And we give you 2 softwares to play with. And then the next class up just gives you more information and more and more. And there's online tutorials, there's support groups that'll help you do this in your community. So if you're interested in that, go to the Sound Health options and at least sign up for one of the courses. They give you the textbook, they give you articles to look at or to read, and some of them are about leaky gut. And in our catalog, there is about 50 tutorials. So you can see if you want to end up doing this. I'm very, very concerned about the rationing that they're threatening. Anybody over 65, they're starting to ration. 72, they're taking away more. And 74, they're going to make decisions about who gets insulin. And we can provide insulin by frequencies. I want the power in your hands of what you want to do with your loved ones, not in the government, who really don't give a Oh, I shouldn't say that.
I understand. Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
don't give a fig about what's going on. And we're trying to put together these centers so people can have a chance. So yes, thank you for the note that we're over. Thank all of you for being here. We had over 50 people. That is awesome. We will send you a follow-up that has the link and the links for what we showed here and a replay of this video.
Oh, cool.
I will try to see if they have the new catalog done. They were just, prices and stuff are going up June 1st, I think. So they were redoing the catalog.
Can I give you my email?
Well, we don't like to do it over the air because you'll
Oh,
get tons of stuff. So you send it to me.
okay.
We have
Perfect.
a email with a special kind of filter on it. And
Good.
then
Okay. I'll send you my email.
okay. So
Thank you so much.
Myra and Susan, thank you for volunteering and just letting your life lay out there for the public to see. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for your time, and I hope you become part of our family. I think this is the medicine of the future, and we can make a difference.
I agree wholeheartedly, Sherry. I do believe this is the medicine of the future. So thank you so much for being a way shower to us all. Have a great night. Thank you.
You are very
Oh,
welcome.
thank you very much.
If you want to grab the chat, you may be able to do it by going to File and say Save Chat Log. I don't know if everybody can do that, but
I'm not sure how.
it's under File and it says Save Chat Log. I will put the links in the follow-up email so you won't have to get the chat. And we'll talk to you later.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.